Happy Saturday, everybody, or whatever it is for you. I shut off the video for yesterday kind of abruptly. I didn't really have a plan for that one. I just kind of was shooting from the hip a little bit. I don't really have plans for most of these videos, if you can't tell. But it's still a fun thing for me to do. And I want to give a massive shout out to the one person that actually has made a comment so far. You're going to have to forgive me. I didn't remember at all at the time of recording this what the screen name was. However, that comment honestly just made me feel so much better about what I am doing, right? It gave me a little more confidence, a little more reassurance that I'm not just completely wasting time doing this. Because it's very easy for me to just record my rides, not say anything, and just use it as evidence should I ever need to. Hopefully I never need to. But to be able to do this in conjunction with actually having my dash cam while I'm riding, it just seems to make perfect sense to me. You know, two birds with one stone kind of thing. So we're heading to Mike Ward, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Lamborghini, Maserati. Basically the one exotic dealership that's pretty close by other than Ferrari. The Ferrari guys they're good dudes, but honestly, it's a different kind of crowd there. It's a little more classy, a little more high-end. I think they do a meet, but it's like I don't even know if they still even do it, but last year they did one, and it was kind of unknown up until the last minute, like when someone else would share the details about it. It's very similar to Mike Ward's meets in the sense that it's, you know, supercar themed, so to speak. Now, granted, like, some of the cars that show up are just like your average everyday kind of cars, right? It's not all crazy exotics, but a good number of them are. And it is early, and shocker, we're low on gas. Is this dude gonna run it? Holy crap, he ran it. Wow. That was impressive. I really need to look at getting this thing tuned. Like, whether it's a factory tune or what, I need to find something, because having this low fuel, it's not good. Because if you look at it, and now it's not letting me. Awesome. It must be because I've got no gas in it. But we'll look when we go to refuel. But basically, like, I think I'm averaging maybe 100 to 125 miles per tank. And the light comes on right around 3 gallons used, which means I have about a gallon and a quarter or a gallon and a half remaining as a reserve, which is pretty good. But that's also not great in terms of mileage. Some of these gas stations have like really weird exits and entrances, so you gotta kind of be picky, at least on the south side of this road, especially if you're trying to use it to get to the highway, which the highway that we have that's right next to us is literally the toll road. And I know that might seem like, well, no big deal, considering, you know, there's probably a ton of people that live near highways that are actually toll roads, like East Coast or Midwest, you know, like Chicago, for instance. But it's not very common here in the West. Okay, let's get some gas, and we will be right back. Okay, so there you see, basically just shy of 3 gallons. It's not exactly cheap out here, but, you know, cheaper than California, that's for damn sure. But you can see on the trip counter, we're at 129 miles. 129 miles for the tank on basically 3 gallons. And there we go. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled programming. Seems like every time that I go to talk to you guys, I'm like borderline running out of gas. And I feel like I totally just wiped off the rear of this bike for like no reason. Holy shit, there is stuff all over the place. Oh my god. I do not want to risk fucking up my tires on all that. I'm gonna lose my hat if I don't get it tucked right. There we go. So, I've been riding less and less with my backpack lately. Been trying to reduce the amount of crap that I'm carrying on this bike while I'm riding. And I think it's actually kind of worked out in my favor a little bit. Just gotta use my cheekbones here to move the microphone a little bit because I'm probably screaming in your face right now. I'm sure I'll be able to adjust it. But so I've been going to this Mike Ward meet for a few years now, and every time I go, there tends to be a good number of vehicles that are all very similar in terms of like they come out on a pretty regular basis. And it's really the high-end stuff, which is surprising because normally you see them like once in a blue moon, at least in the past. Nowadays you see them all the time. And we're talking like some pretty significantly expensive cars like McLaren P1s and such. State Patrol out in the Mustang this morning. That's like the one fast vehicle they actually have in the inventory around here. Like, APD actually has some leftover Chevy Capris that have the, I think it's the LS2 V8 in them. So it's like 425 horse, something in that range. And it's, I mean, it boogies. It's pretty quick. But it's no Mustang. I mean, you know, the Mustang with the 5.0 in it, especially a newer 5.0, that's a significantly faster vehicle, not to mention lighter weight. Because think about it, I mean, a sedan versus a coupe. I know the Mustang's a heavy car, but that Capri, even with like all the added BS that they throw on them for police use, that's got to be at least 1,000 pounds heavier, right? If not 1,000 pounds, it's got to be up there. But I've been going to this meet for a long time now, so if I had to roll the clocks back, I think the first time I ever really went there was probably about 8 years ago, or at least close to it. And I've taken pretty much everything out there. I've taken, you know, a Scat Pack, Hellcats, my GTR. I don't know if I took my 911 there. I don't think I ever did. Maybe I did. I don't know. My Corvette that I had. My M3 definitely saw a lot of visits there. But it's a good time. It usually is a really good time. There's lots of crazy stuff that shows up. And, I mean, there's a good number of not so crazy stuff that shows up. So it doesn't have to be wild as hell. It could just be, you know, your normal, everyday, average kind of vehicles, too. It doesn't have to be wild as hell. Speaking of wild as hell, considering how fast the Speedo is saying I'm going, chances are these guys are probably doing like 80, 85, and the Speedo says I'm doing well over that, which we have already proven, definitely not the case. I kind of need to get in the habit of like keeping my phone up just so I can have a reference speed, at least until I can figure out why the hell this thing reads so damn high. Because if I was really doing this speed, I'd be overtaking these guys like a bullet. And we just know that that can't be the case. Now, let's see if this guy decides. Yep, there it is. Shocker. Now, granted, this guy has to be booking it. Like, absolutely has to be, right? There's no way that he's even remotely close to the speed limit. But that said, I was trying to get a pretty nasty situation there. And this is not much better. Wonder why they're closing this lane down. That's interesting. Ooh, not cool. Okay, student driver. Sometimes I wonder if these guys are actually student drivers or if they're just using it as an excuse to drive like idiots. Oh, looks like they're doing some repaving or something. Interesting. So, back in the day, that overhang used to be the actual toll booth. But ever since they moved on to basically contactless payment, now they basically just send you a bill on your plate if you don't have a little sticker or you're not registered as a user. Which is really convenient if you think about it, because then you really don't have to mess around with stopping and going, and they don't have to have people inside of booths. You know, it's progress. That building, I feel like we may have recorded it in the past, but that building got knocked down super quick. Holy cow. That building used to be there for, Lord knows, probably 20, 30 years. It had been there a long time. So it's kind of wild seeing it all gone. I guess progress, right? I really do need to remember to bring microfibers with me to keep my windscreen clean, because these bugs are getting a little ridiculous these days. Ugh. I don't know how much the smooth motion actually conveys how much, like, the road surface changes. But I can tell you there's certain areas on these highways out here that are just super crazy bumpy on the bike. For the most part, they're fairly smooth, but for instance, back there underneath the overpasses, the concrete blocks were so uneven, I was getting bounced all over the place. There's a little bit of it here, but not too awful bad. See, they keep talking about using these cameras that they use to see if people are weaving in and out of the toll lanes to track vehicle speed. And it's like, I don't think you quite realize how much technology that requires just to do that. These things are great at, you know, checking plates and capturing that kind of thing. But to have the technology to actually track vehicle speed on top of that, I mean, that's a pretty significant investment. And I'm pretty sure Colorado doesn't have the funds for it, let alone CDOT. But they're trying to bring in all these, you know, speed cameras all over the place to try and cut down on vehicle speed. But it's like any other speed program. If they aren't actually putting cops out here and they're actually using those cameras, it is 100% because they're trying to generate revenue. And if they try to tell you any differently, they're lying. Arizona did that a few years back where they had speed cameras literally everywhere and they lost a major lawsuit. I don't even remember what caused it, but I can tell you The lawsuit was so bad, they ended up having to rip all of those speed cameras down. Meanwhile, in Britain, those guys literally cut those things down just because they're like, yeah, I'm not putting up with this. This is tyrannical type of activity from our government. I'm not saying that that's what's happening out here, but it definitely raises some eyebrows. Woo! That'd be something nasty to run over. So the one caveat with the Mike Ward show that always kind of gets me a little bit is the fact that it's a mandatory $20 donation to register your vehicle for the show. However, they use that donation for a good cause. And what do you mean for a good cause? Well, I mean they give it back to some type of charity most of the time. Half the charities I've never even heard of before, but some of them are actually pretty good ones. So it's nice to know that at least, putting that money out there, it's actually going to a good cause. It's still pretty early yet. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the little clips that I did get. There really wasn't as big of a turnout as I thought there would be, which is kind of unfortunate, but it was still a fun time. All right, back into my neck of the woods. Don't make the mistake of trusting anyone, especially people that do that nonsense. I had a burrito while I was there, breakfast burrito with chorizo in it, and it was way too much food. I ended up eating like 2/3 of the thing, if not 3/4, and I just couldn't finish it. It's way too much. Honestly felt like if I'd ate any more, it was gonna be more like a gut bomb. Seriously, how nice is the view out here today? It is crazy good. Well, I don't have much else for you guys today. Promise we will discuss more later. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stuff for us to talk about at some point or another, kind of like the whole Jimmy Kimmel situation. Don't even get me started on that. So with that, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.